on there, and it's showing.
Yeah, I mean, I still gotta say this though. Like, this is gonna be the day where if we're gonna see targeted kind of kills, third parties, this is gonna be the day. Like, if you want someone not to be in the finals because you are afraid, or you want to take the loot spot, or deny a competitor that is a fierce competitor in the finals, this is today to do it. So that's what I'm really worried for the teams that are currently in the bottom.
You can see the players smiling, and I think that sort of energy is in there right now, not only because of, 8 are getting knocked out after this, but also this this is the first time that we've seen, blue chips in this level of competitive play. How will that affect teams that are on the chase? Will they go more aggressive trying to find points? And I think a lot of the teams are I talked to VP, like, we don't really know how that's going to come into play when we get into those late games.
That's a good team to bring up, though, Virtus Pro, right? I think 35 points or so at the moment.
Yeah.
Another team that, considering they've just brought Curexi on here, Avenger, we're expecting more of them, especially being our EMEA brethren. They should be able to perform with this kind of roster, but 35 isn't the wheelhouse we thought they'd be in.
No, they started the day on a high note, and it kind of silenced off a little bit quite quickly. They got the kills, but still 35. They got to do exactly the same today. Like, they got to have 35 again, or at least 30, just to get in that mid-60s to push them ahead of some of the teams that are not playing today. GameStop wins 64, Toyo as well in our early 60s. Like, that's going to be around where the cutoff point is going to be today.
To that point, where do you think the cutoff is? What were you saying, Avenger, there?
I think, the teams are going to be aiming for 64. I think potentially it's going to be 62.
Okay.
I think, anywhere that Martin had said earlier, between 60 and 65 will be the cutoff.
Do you support that, Toffees?
Yeah, I think right between that Toyo GSW is what we're looking for, and I think because so many teams are bunched up in that 30 to 40 pack, it's going to be a pretty wild chase to get there.
The other thing that's super scary is for the teams that did do well in their first day of play and now coming into this, they, as you said, could dictate if they have 1 or 2 good games here, they shoot past that threshold we think is going to be the cutoff. They can go around and do whatever they want to any of the teams around them. Like you said, target a team they don't want to qualify because they're already struggling, like a Team Liquid.
There's some very fiery personalities in this lobby coming up, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like that did happen, Toffees, especially considering it's not just the rivalries that exist here at Esports World Cup, it's rivalries that could persist through to next tournaments. There's also PGS points on the line, don't forget.
100%, but if there was ever a time to build bad blood, it's when there's $650,000 on the line. We can be friends in PGS, but when it comes to EWC and PGC, all bets are off, and we can figure it out later.
I mean, you could be friends throughout the entire year, but if I can make sure that my competition going into grand finals is going to be weaker and I have to knock you out for it, I'm going to do it. I mean, it's part of the game, right? And friends or not, this is life-changing money.
I just think the risk of vengeance is always there, right? Like, the bad blood persists. 17 will hate Na'Vi for a very long time just because they've been annoyed by them for so long. And I just think when there's this much money on the line, a team doesn't process that vengeance risk. It's worth it right now.
We didn't see that yesterday, though. Like, 17 didn't really target Na'Vi. We didn't see him like, oh, you guys are kind of annoying. But like, coming into this here, like, there's going to be teams that's going to be on the cusp on the last 2-3 games that's going to be like, okay, we have 2 third parties, the team we don't want in or the team that's going to be a different team that doesn't really matter to us. Who are we going for a third party? The team that we don't want in the finals is, of course. So it's going to be more kind of silent. It's not going to be as obvious maybe as hot drops until maybe the last 2 games. If there's something that's completely obvious to a team, like, okay, we can hot drop them, we can deny them of a spot. It's not going to happen until, last 2 games.
On the flip side of that, for the teams that just don't do well and pretty much are out of contention while this last day is going on, they can cause havoc as well, right? If they have nothing left to lose, why not just go for a team they, as you said, may not like or may have some vengeance towards?
Which I think we say at every event, the idea that those last 2 or 3 games are when you don't want to be in the race. You need to come out here. You need to have a good game, 1 or 2. And I think that for a lot of teams, we're looking at Liquid right now. You can see the look on their faces. They have a big recovery to put. They got booed when they came out. They got fired up a little bit. But they have to make that move in the first game or 2, because once we get to 3, 4, 5 and teams are now set in stone, that catch-up potential falls off dramatically. Good news, like you said, Martin, it's not very far to get up to 16th right now.
I'm not too worried about Liquid. Like, they've tried having fans going against them for multiple reasons in the past. Like, they're going to come through this. And if there's someone cheering against them in the crowd, as I said, Sparking's going to get fired up. I think he's dropping double digits in terms of kills today. These guys are going to be fine. Like, that level of experience is kind of unparalleled in some of the other rosters, to be honest.
Well, and that's a really good aspect to talk about as well. I mean, we heard Allrain talking about it, mental, right? That's something that they worked on almost exclusively when they went for the boot camp. A team like Liquid has that mental. A team like Na'Vi, as a newer team, granted they're not, in the struggle zone, but that says a lot about how difficult and how much pressure can be on a tournament like this.
BB team in the danger zone to potentially, Martin, do you think that they should be able to kind of buck up their ideas, considering that our most recent international champions?
Yeah, it's scary things for them, like 22 points. That's a long road ahead of them. We're talking, 45 points for them to feel safe. That's a big day when you're going up against competitors that are have shown, extremely fierce. We're talking Falcons here. We're talking Twisted Minds. We're talking freaks that are in this lobby here that is going to be coming in here with something to prove. This is their last kind of warm-up day before we start the finals, right? They're coming into frag, they're coming to third party, their strategy is going to be in a high level here. It's scary to be a team that's currently behind.
Well, you're also describing all these top teams, but then you throw on top of that like Rock and Gen G, who we wouldn't normally put in that category, but actually dominating on day one. Also being in this lobby makes it actually very scary, because it was a juggernautic lobby prior to Rock and Gen G showing up being like, hey, forgot about us, boys.
No, absolutely. I came into this tournament, and I think we all did, thinking, all right, like 8 teams could win this, no problem. And now suddenly there's been a lot of kind of spanners thrown into the works here, Godspeed, where our top teams are suddenly, okay, yeah, there's a 9th, there's a 10th, there's an 11th.
Well, and that's the thing, for a team like Rock, I spoke about it the other day, can they maintain that momentum? Can they still maintain the amount of control that they were able to have in that first group stage day in this group with the Freaks, right, with Twisted Minds? Is that going to be something that they can actually hold down, or have other teams studied them and found a way to punish, maybe?
It's scary no matter what. Even though if they maintain a level and they get the same amount of points, like Rock, do they get 60 points? No, but they're already qualified, so they're a team that's going to commit everything against you when you go in a fight. Like, if you pull up on one of their compounds and they're in a 2-2 split, there's going to be 2 guys flying in with Panthers and bikes and C4s on you just to get back at you, because they're already in there. That's the scary thing. Even for Gen G, like 15 points is nothing. For the Freaks, like 20 points is nothing. Like, it's going to be so easy for these teams to come in and have a decent game today.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. And time for the drums of war to sound and the sirens blare. We have got one more day of the group stage. Will 4 minds act as one and qualify for the grand final?
Hello, PUBG fans around the world! Here we are, getting ready for game number 1 of the group stage. Today, 8 teams will have their hearts, dreams, and keys crushed, but destiny is in their own hands if they can grab it for themselves.
No doubt about it. This is the day when the big players, the big teams step up. You can hear there's fans there that have their favorites, the ones they're rooting for, and teams that are going to be under that pressure, under that gun to see if they can get it done today. And you've got a lot of big names in this lobby, and you've got a lot of teams that still have some work to do to make sure that they are going to be able to get into that grand finals. Nothing is guaranteed just yet. There is still a lot to play for.
So many stakes that we're looking at. We've got PGC points, we've got club championships. We still haven't even tackled the grand finals yet. So it is full on pressure. You can handle it or you cannot. We heard it from Team Liquid. They were struggling on day 1, but no excuses. They know that if they fail, if they succeed, it's due to them and no one else.
Precisely, Matt. It is all onto you now. It's how you play today. It's how you come through in these big moments, in these big games. We're going to get kicked off for the last day of the group stage on Erangel. The grassy pastures is where we will find ourselves. And there's so much going on in this lobby. It's actually insane. I mean, so many amazing teams, surprises here and there. Real quick, I have to touch on the fact that after FN Pulchon had such a good day yesterday, they have to come in with a sub today. Not exactly sure what happened there, but that's brutal to lose Rex, who is in this lobby in terms of like their group, I should say, that has only played 1 day. He is one of the best. Like, he is 13 kills, and there are only a couple other players in that category with him, one of them being Shrimzy. So to lose Rex today is a big deal for a team that was a surprise yesterday and has a real shot to get into that grand final.
I mean, the desk was talking about it. We've had so many teams just step up. It's been hard to kind of figure out what is like the group of death as we're going through the group stage, because we've had so many curveballs and we've seen so many teams that are really, they need big days today. I mean, Team Liquid, we were talking about a second ago, AGAL, they need to step up. These are 2 squads that we definitely know can do it. Centered Circle, going to make it a lot easier for these guys. Not quite so crazy. Rock, the only team that opted to go down towards military base itself, but they have easy pathings to make it back into the main island, so nothing to be concerned with just quite yet. Interestingly, though, we've got Potato as a do-up center point, and not a lot of teams really dancing around it just quite yet. But we do have Tiggleton that is already stretching and getting pretty close to death row.
Yeah, this is a nice early start for the Falcons. They are really stretched out, going to have a lot of zone control early in the center here, and they are trying to do their best to just get into the center, get those points, get further into this game. AGAL, another team that really needs a big day. You're expecting, especially with the star-studded squad that they have, that they're going to be able to find some more points, find some better situations, and this circle could be an opportunity for that.
I mean, there's nothing too crazy, no big curveballs as far as way we're looking with circles. But with having Falcons already in a good position to kind of regroup and get into the circle, we also have AGAL just closing the other side of Death Road. We've got Genji, who's been on their own mini tear. They're over in Pachinki, very, very close, and then Petrichor Road up on top of it. That means that the Cinder has already got a lot of very strong fraggers, especially whenever we count in the Freaks are just to the north of that. So teams where we're looking at VP, TL, this is going to be a hard rotation for these guys to potentially deal with. Geeke, the squad that the desk was talking about that had a lot of expectations coming into this one, they're all the way up in Zarki, and this is going to be a really tricky one for them because the way that the circle is playing, and it's playing a bit further to the south, and it's got a little bit of that military in it, means the river is just right up against the northern part of the circle, denying a lot of decent rotating paths.
No, you're exactly correct. I mean, there is worlds where you're going to be able to drive all the way down through Sosnovka to get back up in towards the northern part of the circle through like the eastern side bridge that BL is crossing right now. But yeah, it is really difficult. So teams that can play edge well are going to not be too fussed by this, like VP. Mm-hmm. I think they're perfectly fine seeing a circle like this because it does lend itself to their play style. But for a team like DK, yeah, you have concerns. Maybe they're comfortable with it, maybe not, but the first day didn't look comfortable. So that's where you're kind of worried about a team of their caliber that we've seen be very strong in the past. So now we do have a quick look into Rock, who's making their rotations out of Novo. They're going to be crossing the northern bridge, and they're granted a lot of space. There's nobody that's going to be up there near Milta or Farm, really. So they've got a lot of room to at least get into the circle comfortably.
Oh, I love the fact that Rock, you could see the reaction. Crowd loving their performances coming off of their day one. On top of that, being a bit of a hometown team right now, getting a ton of support on LAN, and you could see the reaction from the players. They were like, hey, this is what we need. You know, we're talking about some boos that have been going on. Rock, who has been performing incredibly well, now getting some chance, getting some energy being thrown behind them. I can't wait to see what they do today.
Right there with you. I'm really happy that Rock is getting some support, and it's well-deserved after how well they played on the first day of the groups. This is
Love
a team
Fantastico.
Yeah, dude, I mean, yeah, Fantastico, BL, I mean, RBN as well. Like, these guys are great. Souls is having solid performances, but really it's kind of that duo of Fantastico and BL that you feel like are going to lead the charge for Rock. But I liked the once they got confidence, once they had that one good game, then they just took off running. Then they were taking more aggressive fights. You know, once you got to that rondo and they played well, then they were just putting up points. They're putting up kills. They're making aggressive maneuvers to capitalize on teams that were in bad situations. So it's things like that that kind of can be turning points for a team in a tournament where they can learn very quickly what they need to do and how they need to adapt.
Well, we've been watching just an evolution of Rock just over the last couple of PGSs into EWC, and it's just so cool to see them coming more into their own, finding out how they want to play, because that's one of the core things I love about PUBG is there's so many different ways to play the game, and what worked for you in the last event may not as a meta changes up, so you're constantly having to ball who you are, and Kurt manages to get a good shot on the Ranger X and just drop him out of that car.
Oh my god, that is filthy, Kurt. Let's go.
Right, all right.
Let's go.
Boo Team Liquid some more. It doesn't look like it's going to phase them too much.
Yeah, man, that is nice. But we've seen this from Liquid yesterday, where they get an early kill, they get an early pick, and then they're not able to really use that to springboard into further situations where they can find some damage, find some kills. You know, it was a pretty grindy day for them. 25 points is way less than I would have expected.
I think that everybody is kind of shocked by that. But I mean, they did miss out on the PGSs. There is something to be said about coming back into LAN and how that kind of like can burn you a bit. You know, you're kind of having to knock back off the LAN jitters a bit. And I know they'll keep saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Liquid's in first in the club championship right now. It's fine. It doesn't matter that we missed the PGSs, and now PGC points are going to be a lot harder for us to get. But it's in the back of their heads. Just every single time they're trying to do something.
I call BS, yeah.
Yeah, it's there. I don't care. I know you, Kurt. I know you can't have all of the content that you push out where it's just like brutal, honest, truth content and be like, oh yeah, there's no pressure that Team Liquid's in first right now. Yeah, it's fine.
If he told me he wasn't nervous, I'd be like, yeah, sure. But it's going to be in your head.
Yeah.
It's inescapable. You just have to have those things going on as a competitor. You know the situations because people are going to be talking to you about it, whether you like it or not. It could be people in your own organization.
You saw in the interview whenever Bella was like, hey, and he was just like,
yeah.
Your mouth says one thing, but your eyes say a different. So here's GK making their long rotation over from Zarky. They have T5 pretty close to them. T5 on a terror of their own. I'm off pretty big, so good job on scouting this out and getting some distance away from them. Team Liquid that we were talking about still has looped up on Everest. That's going to be south of the river. The other member's going to be rotating pretty close to the red zone, but everybody else pretty settled right now. Not too much dicey going on, which is surprising because we have been seeing the start of every single game for the other 2 days being way more violent.
Yeah, generally we've been seeing some either rotation traps or kind of early scuffles over vehicles or something like that, but this one seems to be pretty fair and square. But this is a much more fair circle, to be honest, compared to some of the ones we've got. So this one kind of feels like everybody has a pretty good idea early of what they want to do, what their opponents are trying to accomplish, and you can see just a few little movements here and there on the map with FN Polchon trying to make a bit of a rotation. Geekay finally coming in from the northern side. T5 wants to, I believe, get that res going for themselves, is my assumption why they're chilling around the crashed plane up there. So everybody just going to be doing a little vibing, it seems. You do have Virtus Pro watching their flank. They should see Geekay coming, so they can play a little bit of defense in terms of thwarting them away.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of momentum that hinges on this very first game for these squads. Specifically, whenever we look down and we can see AGL kind of down from that. I mean, you can kind of even put VP in there, but I mean, if you're holding about 30 to 35 points, you're holding the average from yesterday, and you really just kind of have to replicate that. Sure, 30 to 35 points isn't the best, but you're on target. It's down below that where pressure is going to be mounting. I mean, we have the last PGS champions in BB team. They're going to be one of their members inside of a red zone right now, but they've got compounds, so they should be fine. They're going to be playing over in the southeast. EK's long wrap is going to go around Yaznaya. That's going to put them potentially kind of close to Falcons, most likely VP. So they should be okay as well because they've got plenty of space to play around for the time being.
Yeah, anybody underneath TDT is certainly aware of their situation, certainly aware that they need to have pretty big days, and you'd love to just kind of get through with a nice, generous kill chicken dinner. Ooh, we're going hard to the east there towards Milta, towards Farm.
That's big for Rock. BB team twisted as well, so BB is going to have pretty much center control for the time being. Claps is going to be much more up into the north and the western sides. That AGL not going to have the cleanest sight lines from their positioning, so that's going to be a reprieve for some of these teams. Gen G going to be rotating very close to it. TDT is going to be down next to Rock. FN looks like they're opting for a much longer rotation around. Curious to see on how they do that. They might be eyeing maybe going to military base, wrapping through. VP catching some airtime and a little bit of a roll, but manages to dodge out the borders. That roll probably just saved Nixie's life.
Yeah, Lucarux did lose a tire there, though. Not exactly sure. It might be Yaduzi from BB team, and he's going to get the knock even from downtown. Yaduzi finding some damage there, and AGAL already in trouble early, destroyed down. Flame gets the knock with the grenade. Petrichor Road trying to take advantage of all the chaos to make a rotation through a bunch of fire.
Just got to get through the cars. All right, you're fine, you're fine. So, pause off for just 1 second. Who would have thought whenever we see a crash between Gen G and AGL, it's going to be Gen G that has the momentum inside of it. You can see what's going on the map. There's a lot of shifts back and forth just because of the crossfire positions that are set up. We've got Falcons that are going to be in the north of it, and then over into the east, it's going to be twisted. And it is just a meat grinder in the middle.
All right, hear me out. I'd love to see Petrichor Road try to crash this compound that BBT is in. They've only got 3 players. They lost one early, and maybe if they can figure out that there's only 2 here, because you do not want to be in this Wizard House. It is very, very dangerous as the game rolls on, and a lot of teams are going to be kind of funneled into that direction, assuming the circle just kind of keeps centering up a bit.
we just had Ranger X get dropped back off, but he's pretty far away from everybody. The rest of the squad has yet to come in, so we did see a blue chip come in and be a factor. VP, it's just a struggle, man. They can't find anywhere to stop. Like they thought that they had a good point, and then it's just been trying to do damage control, and it is just not happening.
Yeah, and that's another team that very much could be in contention for the club championship, but they need a win in an event. They don't have a win in any of the games here at EWC, so they can't technically qualify to win because you need to at least have the
European specialty. Just get there off of placement.
Yeah, but they need a win here, so they need to do well today. Not the start they wanted, losing too early. Going to be tough for them, kind of stuck in that shelter unless the circle just is very generous to them to get much going. Team Liquid going to be coming in very, very late for this, and they're going to be coming around the backside of Geeke, who fortunately maybe for Team Liquid is making a bit of a rotation up around the southern side of the prison, trying to get closer into the lumberyard.
I mean, the fans might be able to get a bit of what they want. It's going to be pretty close to Falcons as well, so Geeke twisted Falcons all the gatekeeping positions on this one. Team Liquid feeling that pressure, being much slower, being very methodical, trying to make sure that they scout everything. But as you start making your way up that hill, you're going to start losing a lot of vision. And we can see that Geeke has one of the members around prison that might be able to spot it out. Gen G, right on the edge of the red zone. They've got themselves a sharper that's going to be close. And yes, John did actually go all the way down and around, so being a bit slower in their approach.
Yeah, they had Star-Lord watching from the northern coast of Sosnovka Island to make sure that the gas station was open and that they could make this rotation across the bridge relatively safely. Now, bad news for them, I would say, is considering what we saw in the early part of yesterday, is TDT is there, and they were really fearsome in some of their individual moments, so might be a team, very likely be a team you're going to have to fight if you want to get into this next circle, or unless they try something a little crazy, if they can maybe scout that some of the farm might be available for themselves, but going to be tough as TDT is making a rotation in towards Milta, might be looking to play that northwest corner of the city. Petrichor Road still just chilling in that wizard tower, kind of trading barbs back and forth with BB team, and T5 trying to get Ranger X back in the mix.
That's my thing about it is T5 up into the north is not going to have any pathing. I mean, just look at the wall that's just over there. We still have Gen G that's going to have to brute force their way yet again. It looks like they might be leaning more into that sharper side. FN, I think, is going to be pretty content just to get a stop off right here. They're inside the safe zone. They have no information on anything that's going on except for the fact that TDT just crossed in front of them. And it's going to be kind of hard to get information over here, as really the closest thing you're going to be able to see is rock and farm, and that's a strong position for this circle.
It really is. You like farm here, you like BB position, CTG. Those lots right there tend to be kind of funnels for action, where you can just keep things set up defensively, hold the line. As we do have, I believe that's a recall there for Tosi, trying to get back with the rest of Gen G as they're still kind of trailing AGAL. Tosi, he should be A-okay to get back down, just depends on what's left in that house for him.
I think that we've seen 2, maybe 3 different teams kind of pass around this location, so I don't know what Tosi is even going to have available. Maybe the other guys for Gen G left some stuff behind for him. We have seen that kind of be the way you handle it. Yeah, there's the crate right there, so they marked out a point where somebody was going to be dead. Probably his own crate, maybe. I think that might have been right.
I think it is. I think it is, yeah.
So he should be pretty, I mean, he's going to take some blue damage early, but he should be fine. Only problem with it is, if you pick up the loot from whenever you died, all your armor and helmet is wrecked.
Yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
It is better than nothing. That is absolutely the
case. By like 20%, I guess.
Yeah, but what's interesting is they've had Bean kind of trying to silently trail AGAL to make sure that Gen G could set up for their next maneuver if they need to. Let's see if they're just going to want to try to crash this. Bean tries to spring into action, does a ton of damage. I think this is just a fight waiting to happen.
Okay, how bad do you want it, Gen G? I mean, they've been vibing. Being set up, and here it comes. Big push coming up from Gen G. They're just going to crash in hot and heavy, but look at the read. Tycon Isaki already finds 2. Flamin' Orca down. Imas doesn't have the angle that he wanted onto it, but you can see Gen G instantly regretting. Tosi coming in back behind it, and this has been full-on stopped.
A bit curious here for Bean. Oh, what a grenade. Imas making quick work of it, but Bean did not throw out a smoke early as he is going to go down. Gen G wiped right out the gate, a team that came out so hot. It's going to go out early, but I'm surprised he didn't throw some smokes there to set
Gen G,
True. You are 100% correct.
I haven't seen that one before. I don't know. So, all right. Sharper, you're over here in the north. You're having to contend up against Freaks, but Salute already down is going to make that way easier with the way the circle popped. Farm's going to be pretty much centered up. Into the north, we also have a couple of small skirmishes that are going to be brewing. T5 is going to be in the thick of everything as Twisted's going to be gatekeeping him due south. Luke's going to be on the other side as well as Sparking. Falcons kind of eyeing this one, but I don't think that they want too much out of it. Team Liquid realizing that getting some kills early can really feed them up that leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game here as Liquid, you're looking to do some damage and then maybe make a easterly rotation. But they're losing tires and their vehicles are getting beat up here by Twisted Minds, who's also angling in this direction. Falcons taking advantage of T5 being in a prone position in a spot where they just can't really do much. And yeah, I don't think T5 is long for this lobby.
Yeah. The matter is just going to be who gets the kills on it. Team Liquid wants them bad. Falcons, though, looks like they've been trying to see what they can salvage off of it. Twisted wants to get inside the circle, so that's going to open up more pathing options for Team Liquid as well as maybe T5 if they can weather the storm of bullets that are raining down on their heads. Team Liquid's going to be coming in this pretty late. I do like, though, that we are seeing Team Liquid realize, okay, we need every point, and we need every point early. We're going to start playing more aggressive for it. This is a squad that is very heady, but often can sometimes be their own detriment. Instead of just realizing, dude, we can frag the world. Let's just frag the world.
Right. Sometimes you get caught up in these situations where you overthink things and you make decisions and you're like, this should be safe. And what you should actually be thinking is we should be taking some fights. In this case, Team Liquid, I think, making a good decision. Yeah, Falcons, but X-Grizzit hits a headshot with the SKS. Only one more bullet, can't get it to connect. H-Win, a little bit of a reprieve there to get behind the buggy.
But Perfectix does hit a shot on his Shrimsy. That does stall out a bit more. Oh, Tickleton drops in right on top of that Molotov.
That was kickstarts.
That's a problem. And now Falcons, they are firm gate kept by Twisted as well as Sharper. And this is going to be a very difficult rotation. They do have one of their down teammates. They're going to try to roll through. There's not a lot of options, and there's nowhere to go. Jedi reads that one perfectly.
Well, I think this is about done and dusted for the Falcons as well. Twisted Minds angling in this direction. There's a random player from Pero here. Ming Ming must have got stuck in transition, couldn't get to the rest of his team, and he's going to go down. Twisted able to deal with him. Batulin's the only one lost so far. Lou in a battle with H-Win out in the blue, and actually Lou gets taken down by the blue itself, so H-Win did enough to at least get the knock. Has that blue zone bag for just a bit longer.
Falcons are in trouble, but they haven't gone down just quite yet, and that's created a lot of problems. Petrichor Roads hopped inside their vehicles, and they're just roaming right over here. Nexus, now Twisted has to be cautious of this new angle of approach. T5 still outside the blue, up into the northeast. They have no pathing options now as there's been a new contender that's holding them out. Meanwhile, Team Liquid trying to keep the rampage rolling as they've spotted out tail end of this, pick up another one, but it is going to come at cost of losing Alo.
You know, could go for a res. It's not too far away, but you got to deal with this fight first. TDT has the blues up on the hill. They're throwing out some mollies there, trying to see if they can keep that player trapped in there.
GK.
They catch some damage. Hello, GK is going to just box these two teams in.
So we can see everything setting up. This is going to be a Herculean task for Team Liquid to have to move forward. Let's get a listen in to see how they're going to navigate it.
Can we saw the smoke one? Yeah, I threw one smoke and I threw a cover flare as well. Loot these bodies real quick. I think they might have left this yellow. I think I'm just gonna
I think they might be playing the ball. You alone, Luke.
Okay. The sun went out. I'm gonna just come
They're getting knocked by GK.
Yeah. Okay, one up. Should
we take blue?
They got knocked from the ball, okay?
He's a gas can, be careful.
Okay, we need to kill main yellow, guys.
Yeah, let's go. Push the yellow right now.
He's inside.
Right? That could be a knock there.
Front left. There's two there. C4 here.
Guys, I think we need to take blue right now.
Sleep on the ball.
In front of GK. That's what I'm doing.
Bolt it out, guys. Front of yellow.
This is that. Can you play heals maybe?
I'm gonna try.
They're getting knocked in the back. We might be able to fucking kill them right now.
There's a body here, 2 bodies here, buddy. And I have first aids. Drop first aids.
Okay, that didn't go the cleanest. And while they have been picking up a lot of firefights, Team Liquid needs to get points, only sitting on 3 kills right now. They're going to take those shots at EK, force them away, but while this is going on, Ponchon has moved into the circle. and now is kind of holding out the new position. So Team Liquid, GK both in some trouble. Sparking wants to make something happen, but man, this is a hard hill to push up right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sparking getting a little bit of help though from FN Pochon. They've done some damage to GK. He's looking for some damage into BB Team, who's gotten beat up by CTG up on the northern side of the circle. In fact, they're just wiped out. So Sparking there, you know, wanted to get a little bit more aggressive. Wanted to see if they could counter rotate, get ahead of GK, and he's trying his damnedest to get there. Still DL as well here for the Freaks, looking to see if he can go fishing through the smokes. Perfectix alive in the blue. Pretty
Talking about the early game being pretty chaotic. Nope, mid game this time around, not a lot of options to work with. Sparking does pick up at least one kill for this one. He is right in the face of Diffx, though, as the smoke's going to be between them. 23 alive. Sparky needs to move forward. 1 HP. No, he's going to go down. A little bit of damage going to be enough combined in with the blue zone. So Sparking trapped out in the blue zone right now, and I think it's changed the game. That might have spotted him out, taking shots, slowing his approach.
Yeah, Diffx trying to get a heal through himself, but hard to imagine he's going to survive much longer. Tons of bullets raining in, and yeah, the blue is just going to finish what a bunch of other players started. Purdy Curdy is still out there, still out in the blue. I mean, FN Pochon, they've got a great foothold here in farm. They've got Zenith even close to Rock's positioning on the northern half of the farm, right outside of a fence there. Perfectix just trying to hang on as long as he can. AGL taking some of those ditches that are out to the west of farm. That's about all you have to work with. Not much going on in the circle, and DL has the shack.
I mean, we're looking at this in-game circle just being the bowl of the valley coming down into farm. Been able to defend it up. Nobody's been able to really encroach in. I mean, Zenith is getting pretty close over there, but it's just teams coming in absolute tatters and shambles right now. As you can see, Purdy Curdy trying to creep his way in. AGAL does have some control over the western side. Perfectix in a similar position to Purdy Curdy trying to come in from the north. Change the game. Kind of the odd team out is there's no real easy path down that hillside. There you go. Kurt spotted out. Does go down, but at least managed to pick up some points.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there for Karan that he couldn't get that kill. The blue ends up being what finishes Purdy off. Perfectix, 2 more first aids. Still quite a ways to go, actually. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there. Jedi does get Hung To Wai in transition. More players falling for CTG. They have to make a dangerous rotation. There's just too many angles on them, and they're getting cut apart.
Shocked that they managed to make it into the circle with the amount of teams that were going to try to make something happen there. While this is going on, AGAL does shift into the south. Perfectix is still alive up into the north and has spotted this. Tian still being alive over here, just trying to slow down anything coming up from Sharper, but just too many different angles. Perfectix does spot him in that high ground, so picks up another point. And Perfectix just looks down that hillside. 9 kills right now for Twisted, and Perfectix can potentially get more, looking right into Sharper. But here comes Rock, here comes AGAL. Everybody sees him. He took that one shot, and now 3 different teams are trying to pop him as the last member up for Twisted.
Yeah, he's just trying to survive as long as he can here, seeing if maybe he gets lucky and, you know, another player falls somewhere along the way, but has to go out into the blue and just going to concede. No points given over to anybody else. Knew he was dead to rights at that point. This next circle, very important here, though, Matt, because with Rock's compound going to be in no matter what, kind of depends on which way it shifts, who can kind of hold the line, who has to make a move, because if it shifts like northeast, then maybe somebody like AGL or FN Pochon has to make a move to try to contest Rock's space inside of this farm, because right now they have full zone control.
Pochon's going to be in a weird spot right now with this 2-1-1 split. Zenith is right next to Rock, so that does open up an opportunity for them to actually take a later game fight with Rock. AGAL is on the outside of it, though, but AGAL is kind of leaned more down into the south. Circle Pops actually leans more into the AGAL favored position, so really bad news for DL. Poor Bob saying head's going to have to make a long run with Pochon kind of looking at him. Sharper, I think, only really has to move a couple of meters, but that couple of meters means the fact that there is no cover to be had.
Yeah, this is difficult for Sharper. Is there enough room in some of these rolling hills that you can tuck in and avoid the sightlines of Rock? It's going to be tricky. Otherwise, you just got to think about making a crash towards AGL and trying to take the other side of the hill that they're holding on to. But AGL is lined up and kind of looking ready for a fight. You know, I could see Hemas very keenly aware of Sharper's position. So It's just going to be a difficult maneuver that they're going to have to try to make. You're going to have Rock shooting at you. And the real question is what does DL do? What does FN do?
Also, AGAL, the amount of kills that they've got right now is absolutely crazy if we think about it. This is the start of the last day of groups for a squad that we know can frag, and coming out the very first game, finding kills, starting to find more comfort inside of these firefights, now getting a bit of circle love as well. This could be pretty big. FN making a push. They're just going to roll right it. This is open. They know it. It's safe. Does manage to stop off. So with the Star-Lord is very far back behind it, they're watching. Sharper's going to try to use the distraction that was set up down in the south to see if they can manage to get into the circle. Garland, seeing if maybe he can hold off Santastico, is going to get enough. But look, now everybody from Rock is being pulled 2 different directions. That's giving more control to AGAL.
Yeah, this is very nice for AGAL. Sharper just trying to kind of slowly creep forward here, find little hillsides, use some of that cover that they're able to create, but that's a big knock on a Star-Lord as he's trying to get through the fields. Knocked by BBL, so that's going to slow down FN. Karan there, going to be tasked with trying to provide cover, but AGAL has found an angle into this fight. Zenith gets knocked, he's flushed. FN Polchon in trouble.
Rock doing a good job on their defense. They've become the focal point for so much. Polchon in so much trouble right now as here comes the collapse. Rock actually surrendering a lot of the north just to go ahead and finish out, make sure that nobody is harassing them down into the south. They're just going to run down into this one. They know exactly where he's at. Just going to chase them all. That's it. Polchon now out. Rock's now going to be able to focus in more into the west, but this has allowed Sharper as well as AGAL to set up a much better defense than I thought was going to happen.
That's fantastic defense there by Rock. I mean, yeah, they get a little help from AGAL, but they're proactive in that defense. Once they realize that FN is weak, especially after that second knock, they just pounce. They start throwing stuns and frags, and they just identify where those players are and completely wipe them off the board. That is very well handled by them, and just, again, showcasing how good they have been in this group stage. Now, Sharper still has a little bit of room, but you can see there that Earth is trying to find an angle, and he's just enough outside of the circle that he's going to have to scooch forward one way or another, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do so safely. Hard to say.
I mean, I don't even know what you do here. There's not much that Sharper has to work with. They've got that ridgeline kind of near the road, but it is so right along the edge of the zone. It doesn't give you much in Phase 8 because you're going to instantly have to move forward already. Rock, with the compounds, of course, has some safety for now, but they can get pretty close to the circle. Everybody's not in a comfortable position to really assault and take control of the center of the circle.
You're exactly right. The center of the circle is on a plateau.
Yeah.
It's just in a really uncomfortable spot. So you got to just kind of hold your line and kind of wait for somebody to have to make a move and hope that they have to make the move before you and you can punish that. As Himas just going to use that foldable shield. This is a great example of why you would love to keep one of these things in your car, in your backpack for these late game scenarios, because in open circles like this, it gives you a little bit of an extra advantage. He's going to shift it just a little bit further forward, trying to find a better angle into Sharper, hoping that once these smokes wear out, him and Haisaki can make quick work of these two players up on their north.
AGL realizing the threat and the problem. Sharper leaning more west with 2 of their members means AGAL has an assault problem right next door to them, where Rock only really has to deal with the solo next to Rosette. So they have a much bigger opportunity. Multiple members from Rock have already actually left the compound. They're starting to dance around the lower section of that hill. You can see RBN. They've got that ridge line that's right at the top of your screen that you can see over there. Everybody leaned back. This is your center dot. Nothing to be had. There's a small ridge a bit close to Rock that they can use, and a tree that AGAL can use. Sharper's got nothing. They've got their car, they've got their hopes and dreams, and Jedi trying every mind trick that he can do. These are not the headshots you were looking for, as now Himas wants to go. He's got the nade up, but he takes too much damage. He goes down. Nade goes a bit far too. That's a problem for AGLs. Now Rock might be trying to backstab.
That's a pretty big mistake there from Himas. Couldn't get the damage. Pretty big mistake there from Himas. Couldn't get the damage that he needed. Exquisite finds the knock on to Santastico as she's trying to get out there, but BL able to respond. with a grenade there, and that's the flank player, the solo player. 4 Sharper down. 2 players stuck on this western edge, trying to use smokes to just take the fight against AGAL. Maybe get second place here. You're going to have a tough time taking a fair fight against Rock.
I mean, all right, Sharper, you guys are trying to take this. You have nothing, and you're fighting tooth and nail for everything you can get. There is no easy die in these guys right now, but only one up, trying to see if he can get something more out of it. Not going to be able to find a high sack. He runs out of the blue zone, narrowly makes it back in, but he is actually going to go down to a Molotov. Rock now steamrolling through it. They're going to pick it up and continue to just string together all the points that you can in this lobby.
Oh, what a just unbelievable group stage for them. They're just continuing the momentum. By the way, it was Jedi's Molly that got the last 2 kills on the AGAL. I just caught it in the kill feed.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Rock they're set. They don't need those extra kills. They're just happy to get some wins, happy to get the crowd pumped up.
This is also big because Rock coming in, picking up points. Anybody that's at the top of the leaderboard getting more points means that cutoff is going to get weird, because whenever we have sponges at the top eating everything, it means that there's less for everybody else. Therefore, the cutoff could move down a bit. So if we see continual control coming out from these top squads, that's going to be problematic. But AGAL making it in the later stages and fragging out in the first game, that's scary.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is something that a lot of people aren't going to be happy to see that are playing in this lobby. Fans at home going to love it. You want to see Hemas. You want to see that fragger, who's one of the best on the planet right now, in that grand finals.
So many moving factors in that game. I mean, Team Liquid being very proactive at the earlier sections, couldn't find a way to get into the later stages. But I mean, I like what we saw coming out from them. They were putting out damage. They just couldn't get the points converted over the way that they wanted. I hope that they still try to continue being proactive in that, see what we can get from them. BB was just kind of caught in an awkward spot off on the edge of the zone. That's going to be very detrimental for them. So much going into our game number 1 as we still have 5 more games to go. We're going to take a quick break. Don't you go anywhere.
everyone. Welcome to the STC Club Championship Updates News with Bella. I have 4 grand news to share with you, so hang in there. First up is going to be TFT playoffs kicked off with the contender group Virtus Pro looking to make strides. They're the only team still left running in the club championship points, so we don't know what they'll end on. On the other side, there's Weibo and T1 still playing in the playoffs as well. They're looking to climb their ranks in the standing as well. Next up, PUBG. This is the final day of group stage. It's going to be groups B and C, and we have the important contenders all going head to head. It's going to be Team Falcons, Twisted Minds, Team Liquid, and Virtus Pro. Well, as of now, Team Falcons and Twisted Minds are in the lead, and Team Liquid and Virtus Pro really need to have a good day to secure their spot in the finals and make sure they are still in the race for the club championship. Third up, it's Tekken. Well, second day phase 1 group stage has started. Well, no upsets yesterday because it was only the opening day, but we are going to have 8 more eliminations and 8 more players moving on to the phase 2 group stage. Last but not least, Rocket League. Group stage kicks off today. It's going to be Falcons, Vitality, Virtus Pro, and Twisted Minds all looking to overtake Team Liquid in their first standing, and this is the title where they're missing out, so we have no idea how this is going to go. No eliminations today as it's only the opening match. Well, that is the club championship update for you, and thanks for joining me.
Yes, thank you, co-anchor Bella. And now breaking news coming in as well. Virtus Pro in TFT has apparently defeated Wolves and moved through into the semi-finals, which is actually big for those club championship points because Virtus Pro is yet to get a championship under their belt, and to be able to be eligible to win the club championships, you need to have at least 1 championship. So moving into the semi-finals, very important. Let's look at the club championship points. Martin, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, they're guaranteed that many points. Being in 4th right now, and obviously Virtus Pro already have players in other games as well, have a team here. They need to get into the finals here to get some points. You need to get top 8 to get any, but it's pretty exciting, obviously, with how the teams are playing today, and with that many teams and our organization is this close. Like, the championship is not close.
I'm really sad because BMW, M Team, Redline, Red Bull, Sim Racing has almost dropped out of the top 13. So
and it was so much fun to say. Like Earth is up.
They got
those 1,000 points at the very beginning in Ren Spot, and they've been there ever since every tournament I'm covering. But anyway, we have got ourselves. Where were we going? I can't even. I'm having so much fun.
This is PUBG.
It was devastating.
Look at the team coach winning moments here from good old Rock.
Yeah, now they're catching just here after 7 games. Going to be in first place. That's pretty impressive.
The thing with Rock.
Eu vou fazer nade lá. Eu tenho 2 bang, guys. Tchau. Bate os 2. Vamos bangar.
Pera, eu tenho nade.
Knock. Vamos lá. Vamos puxar. Rouba aqui. Vamos, pelo! Vamos, caralho!
All right, we're back on track. We have got ourselves the victory here from Rock. And my question to you guys is, I'll start with you, Toffees. Are Rock now just god gamers, apparently?
They predict well. I don't know if they catch circle. I don't know what they're doing, but these nests that they're building, they fight out of it, guys. But I think that's something that you have observed is really nice that they're doing.
So let's call it what it is. They caught 9 there, right? They were there pretty much from the beginning. That being said, they flexed out. They actually were proactive. They're getting kills. We've seen multiple teams now at this point in the group stages not flex out, not be proactive, not get the kills they should be getting when they're winning games. That's not necessarily the case with Rock, and that's what I love to see from these boys.
You know what was most exciting in this game for me is that Sharper Esports now also was to a top 3 position. But that 15 points from the start of the day, and now, coming in here and getting points is huge for them.
It's nice to put up a big number. Also, I think everyone in the lobby is going to agree, if there is a team that they're okay with sort of catching 9 and getting free points, it's Rock, who's essentially already qualified,
that's
right?
Fine with it,
It's not a team that's sort of on the cusp and could knock you out at this point. So I think that's good. You kind of want them to sponge if you're one of those teams in the mid-pack.
Also, all gamers actually had a banger game, and Haisaki was able to bang out some kills for himself as well. We see them celebrating, but that's a big game for AJL.
More kills now for Haisaki today in this game than the entirety of the 6 games prior.
All right, well, the points coming in. 18 points go the way of Rock, as you say. The sponging will continue on. Toffees.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Rock and the fans. So you've heard them when they walked in. There was cheering. You heard the cheering when they got the win. There was a huge Furia contingent outside. A brand that has countrymen in Rock, and it seems like all of the fans who are here are like, hey, let's go ahead in there and get behind Rock. And it's really cool. And you can see the guys respond to that saying, hey, man, it's really nice to have support.
But as you were mentioning here, Avenger, Sharper Esports, this is such a big game for them. 12 points coming in. They lost Thunders early. But then from there, the 3 were able to make it work into that later game.
And they almost doubled their points. They got 12 in this game. They had 15 prior to this. Again, they need a huge day to kind of jump into it. But remember, when we started this, we had 35 points was the cutoff. 36 points was the cutoff for 16th.
Absolutely, and I think, getting the numbers up there, having one big game is going to be something that takes you up to that next level. And because the cutoff, as you said, is so tight, just having one big jumper could push you through. Is this a team that I think we're going to see multiple big games one after another from? As of now, I'm not willing to say yes, but I think seeing them being proactive, seeing them being willing to take a little more fight, that speaks to, maybe desperation. It's a good start.
Do you need more earth-shaking performances, more thunderous performances, Godspeed, from this team?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is they need to keep this consistency up throughout the entire day. Yeah. And I'm not sure if they can do it. That doesn't mean I don't think they can do it, but yeah, I'm just not sure. For VP, though, that's a team that I was just about to bounce on off your point. That was a really disjointed game. It looked like there was a lot of indecision in Shelter. We saw them lose Beamy, and then they lost Nixie in like a weird 2-2 split where they were trying to recover, and it didn't look good. It didn't look good for the first game.
Well, let's take a look at the overalls then, because we're going to be keeping very close eyes throughout the day on the cusp. Who is going to be down towards those 16th positions? But Rock, yes, you've already. Good job, guys. Jeez Louise, calm down. All right, you're in number 1.
Wow,
good stuff,
we get it.
we get it, guys. All right. So this is really exactly where we're focusing. Where we are focusing is exactly here. All Games Global moves into 15th spot here, Avenger, and is now shoring up some defenses.
Yeah, that's big for them. Obviously, we talked about it. You just need one decent game to start things with. You're going to be into the top 16 now. You need to defend. You need to continue.
I think for me, one of the things to watch is Gen G. They're sitting at that 55. It's not a safe cutoff yet, and they don't have Rex. They've got Orca in, subbing right now, and so I do think that's a situation. Excuse me?
Carvin.
Yeah, Carvin, sorry. Yeah. Subbing right now, and that is a situation that could be problematic. They had a really good day 1, but when you mix up the team like that, you still have to find 20 points somewhere today.
Yeah, somebody said he was not feeling well,
I believe so.
That's the rumor. I don't know for sure what's going on with
that. That is rough, though, right? Because they had such a good day 1 Godspeed. So to adjust anything from that, you just think to yourself, coming into your second day, okay, let's just do what we did then. But I guess wishy-washy that.
And then you also have someone who has less experience, right? That's going to be huge. You can't really rely on him the way you would on Rex, and so that causes their own issues. But I mean, you want to talk about issues, at least for a team like Liquid, right? VP didn't necessarily get any points. Liquid at least managed to walk out with 5 in that one in a very desperate end game for them.
No, definitely.
Yeah, all the circles are just going away from them continuously, right? But there's a great pull-up. They had tried to get into the fight with T5. They tried to get in to get some points there. They had a C4. Saw Sparking pull out a C4, almost putting in the car, putting it down there. That could have been two or three guaranteed points, but okay, we might have a chance to get in. Circle went west twice, they had to pull up and fight TDT. Still got some points from it. Actually managed to heal off to get into top 8 as well after the C4 from GK.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team with a long history of circle Teflon about them, right? These circles consistently just seem to slide away from these guys every time they feel like they've got a good spot. To get 5 on the salvage, great news for them, but they need they need a rock game, for crying out loud, to go the way of Liquid, because they need just to have one game where they can get their heads in the right place and say, oh, that went the way that we wanted it to.
Yeah, they just need to say that once.
They just need to be just one time, right? I mean, Sparking's angry. You can see it. You saw him go out for those kills. He wants it.
Yeah, no, I was going to bring up exactly that. It felt like as soon as there was a little bit of a spark lit underneath these boys here, Godspeed, there were some kills there and there, but again, the circle's really not kind.
Yeah, they got caught between, as Martin was saying, TDT and GK, right? And GK was gatekeeping both of those teams already in the yellows on the east, and that was just kind of an issue, so...
GK here as well. Obviously, they need big points as well, Martin. And they
currently on 20. 20 is that's a long shot. You have 5 games to do. We need 2 big games for them to have them in the kind of contest of our top 16 kind of 60s, and then they need to kind of close it out on the last ones.
It's getting tough that we keep saying that we keep coming to these teams that we expect it to do relatively well. We're like, well, they need 2 more good games. There's only 5 left. And 2 of those are Tego and Rondo, which are kind of anything can happen.
Yes, they get land finally here. And then before that, yes, they won Europe, but that wishy-washy PGS 7-8 because they didn't have him. So my question is why is it not working? Is the honeymoon period over because they seem to be in such a good mental state at the beginning of what was going on after they won Europe? Godspeed. It's not clicking for me. I can't figure out what's wrong.
What's odd is it's their team fights. They're losing. Team fights, which again doesn't make any sense for this roster, right? You look at the pedigree that you have: Spyro, PWD, Quizzy, again, Diffex. We've talked about him ad nauseum at this point, and we haven't seen what we expect from them, Martin.
I think, specifically Diffex. I just don't think, no, we're used to talking about him constantly. We're not seeing any pops.
Yeah, we need to see him kind of level up to what we know that he's capable of, right? I think the 36 kills in the qualifiers, like he's insane. 34 maybe he was. That's like he's such a good player, right? But then again, you come in here, there's an immense amount of pressure on the team. Like, we just need to make it to finals. Like, there's no double elimination. It's just the group stage. You got a best of 12. You got a you got to focus up here in this game specifically. We can deep dive a little bit into that. This
arm in tricky positions where they have to take fights, they have to make moves.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous day for a lot of teams. And yes, club championship points are important, but PGC points are so important as well. So much on the table for these teams, and it's just continuing to get more and more crazy as we're getting in. That mid-game on Erangel was crazy. I mean, what, 30 people alive in Circle 5 in a farm game is nuts.
It is. It was just a very tight ending in terms of what you had left to play and who could do what. So that's, another problem when teams are having to come east to west in that circle, is there's so many teams that are just tucked in as tightly as they can, so you don't have the ability to say, go for a crash onto the farm, because you're just going to get cut down trying to drive through. We saw that with a couple teams like CTG that tried to drive into the circle and just got wrecked, mostly by Sharper, who had a phenomenal game for themselves, really giving themselves some hope to maybe do something here and get into that grand finals. But yeah, this plane path is not so good.
Interesting. So remember, Rock did drop in Novo last time and did the shift into farm with an early read on Circle. So paid up big for them. This can kind of go wherever. It does. I mean, if you're going off the plane path, you do feel like maybe this is going to lean a bit over in the military base island. But I mean, we could have a peninsula ending over there into the east. There's a lot to really look at. AGAL also finding some kills inside that last game, getting a lot more active. That's going to be pretty scary. Circle goes, no, none of those places.
Wow. We're
going to go up next to Yasnaya. Fields again, still keeping Stolber. Although this plane path, still having Stolber in circles, kind of surprising.
It is. It is about as north as you can go in some ways. You can, of course, go more north but it's pretty up there. So for teams that are on Sosnovka Island that are going to be in Primorsk, like I wouldn't be too surprised to see a bunch of them try to get those early E pickups and get in the air and get towards that northern edge, maybe Kameshki, up towards that road, west of Yasnaya, to try to grab some vehicles and set yourself up for the mid to late game. FN's already on the move.
Well, that's what I was kind of noticing is we've got kind of a mad dash up next to that Georgia Pole area. So FN, I'm curious if they're just going to go all the way up to North George. Team Liquid's going to be following them back behind them because they're going to be going over to Georgia Pole. Rotating a bit longer in the circle isn't the worst, given the fact that you still have so much of that northern area and Stolber and the Badlands west to it, even having Kameshki inside the circles. So a lot of rotation options that you can have for you. VP still just chilling in that 36-point area. They're again, they're on track, but they got to have something start going their way a bit more favorably to get some momentum going.
Well, this is like danger zone for VP because if you try to cross the eastern bridge, you have to suspect that maybe Rock is going to go for a camp because they have nothing to lose. They can set up on that bridge and just trap rotations if they want. So you can already see Lukaruk if they want. So you can already see Lukarux is driving away from that. It's Gatka for Team Liquid, but
well, this is interesting with Team Liquid. As we were kind of talking about this during the break between the two of us, Team Liquid, aka Shoot to Kill, has been like a fan favorite team for forever.
Sure.
In PUBG. They're getting like a bit booed, you know, as competition's going on for the club championship.
Yeah.
This is the first time they're having to deal with that type of environment where they're kind of the villains of this.
A little bit, yeah. It is kind of weird to think about. I mean, just a team that's always there. And by the way, just look at the map. Look at the West. So FN had already gotten ahead of Team Liquid, and they're kind of driving a little bit close to where Starlord is. Heaven on top of Rock, and Rock doing kind of a little bit of what I suspected they might in terms of getting to that crossroads outside of the bridge early to try to make sure that they can dictate traffic there. I assume that the Freaks just couldn't find an emergency pickup or something and are going to have to do this with vehicles, so it's going to require good scouting from Heaven.
I mean, it feels like maybe they're just trying to scout and see whenever Rock goes, then they know that they can go. This is an interesting lay of the land for them to see how this is all going to play out. Also in the George Pole situation, we did have DK that finally made it up over there as well. But, yep, here's Starlord. This is kind of what I was expecting might happen. FN did have the inside track to get to position early and might have tried to pick up something, and that's going to be Kurt going down early, and that is not what Team Liquid wanted to start this off. But, hey, at least now he can kind of like micromanage his other players.
There you go. I like your half glass full approach to that. But this is kind of funny to me because if you think back to really old school Starlord, like you're thinking back to like Active Stars Red, VSG, he loved to come to North George. This is actually his old dude. This is
we used to see over in Korea.
Old drop spot for Starlord's teams. You know, he's been in IGL for quite some time. You know, he did have a bit of a journey over to Japan for a while. Now back in Korea. You know, he was on D+ last year for a bit. But he is kind of wrapped pretty far. Geekay's actually wrapped over towards the Georgia Pole Bridge, and they're making their way through North Georgia as well. So a lot of, you know, unintended action because of the bad plane path, because of the bad circle, that teams are having to square up and duke it out a little bit over in a part of the map that you normally just wouldn't expect in a situation like this.
Updates on the circle itself, you can see that we're looking at T5. This is going to be pretty far north, just to the east of Yasnaya itself. Sharper's got Yasnaya footholds just down to the southeast of it. GK, you can see that this is the split that they're running over here into the North George area. FN's actually pretty close to them. It's going to be Starlord. It's got to be a bit cautious. The other members for Team Liquid still playing into the southern Georgia Pole area. in the circle itself. Most other teams have already managed to get in there. VP has managed to find an emergency pickup, so it looks like they're just going to kind of jump across the entirety of the circle. Rock hasn't really moved yet, so that's kind of left Freaks stuck over here. So Salute looks like he's got his own goals, and DL does spout out RBN, and he is down, out, and flushed, so the door is opening for the Freaks.
Yeah, this is fantastic patience for the Freaks. They let one of the cars of Rock go, and then when they saw another, they were in a position to punish, and they're going to get that kill. Now, Guman is going to be watching the tail end of Rock. I mean, this is fantastic scouting work from the Freaks. They have had so much information up on this radar tower mountain for so long. They knew exactly when and where they could pounce on top of Rock and take advantage of them. So Guman, I don't think he's going to pull the trigger at this range necessarily, unless he's already planning on leaving this situation. Then he might just send a little damage in if he could, but looks like he's already going back to the coop. Doesn't want to reveal his position. It is tricky in that spot. When you only see one player, you're not 100% sure maybe where the other is. Just let him go. You could set up, you're going to force them to make a rotation, but BL's camping the bridge.
This is a good read, realizing the fact that with the Freaks getting that one kill onto one of the Rocks members, that means that they saw the one that crossed the bridge, knows that they're going to be holding, so that means that they have to let Rock go first. If anything, getting that kill says, okay, we have to stay here for a second. Well, got to let you go. Well, I say that. They're now in vehicles, and this might be the worst possible time for the Freaks to opt into going into this angle, unless they're just trying to gatekeep out and maybe counter bridge camp.
I think Heaven just saw Solds' position, saw the edge of that Dacia, so I think this is now, that's why the Freaks pulled up. I think they just got the information because what you were saying I think was going to be true, where they thought they might be able to make their move. But this is a bit of a positional battle here, but the Freaks are going to continue to have the advantage, not just because they have the extra player, but because they have that high ground info to make some decisions. Finally, it is going to be Heaven who starts to kind of make a move.
Well, okay, so now Solds has to come back. He's going to regroup with Fantastic. Though BL's still on an island by himself, and by an island I mean a bridge, as the other members of Freaks now can't move forward. So the Freaks have kind of set themselves up into their own lockbox. They're the ones that kind of were proactive in trying to get the kill here, but now they know they can't move forward, because I know that they spotted out BL move. I think that maybe Human spotting out that one member that was just kind of dancing around up on top of the crates and trying to get some more loot, maybe they thought that they had the timing and they thought that maybe they could just run past one member in Rock. But it's just a game of seconds in PUBG, and that 1 second that Human looked away means now back into it. Rock hops in their vehicles and they shift over. Now Rock, though, I think is just going to go, okay, they were set up, looked like they were going for the pier. Instead, they're going to go for an emergency pickup. So BL might just be by himself. This is a great spot to be. Is he going to go for any shots? Is he going to let them pass? I think he just might say, okay, no, y'all are good. Yep. Okay. Because he has to trail by himself. The other members are going to be in the emergency pickup. He doesn't want to take the shots. He just wants them to think that he's gone.
I thought for a second they might do something bizarre, like try to jump BL onto the ferry from the bridge, like while they're all like going.
I mean, he could.
It was like in my mind, I'm like, maybe? Nah, no.
Style points.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted like cool points. Like that's like next level rotation strategies. But yeah, with an emergency pickup there, you're 100% taking that every time.
Quick update. Blue Chip did get picked up by Team Liquid. Kurt is doing a parachute in right now, but guess what? He's going to be
close to FN.
So, John could make their life a bit difficult. I don't know if they spotted him, but it looks like Zenith did glance back that direction. That could be an issue. Actually, multiple members of Pochon all look like they might be converging into where Team Liquid's at.
They know what that is.
It could be scary.
They know exactly what that is. That's why they're driving at Kurt. The rest of Liquid is trying to get there to back him up. There's going to be a fight going on here very soon.
Show us Kurt. He's got to have a gun. He has to have something. Everybody from Pochon is coming in here really quick over into the west. Is Team Liquid just going to go ahead and try to run the gauntlet, because FN entirely turned back around on this? New circle has popped. It does go down in the south. Santastico and the rest of the crew should be fine. Looks like the Freaks have also popped an emergency pickup. Everything's getting stopped off over here. Looks like Team Liquid members do manage to regroup fast enough over into the west. Shots are now starting to pop in between them. Who got it? It's going to be Zenith gets a knock onto Alo, and Luke's already got a counter knock onto Americano.
Oh, but Sparking has a BDRM. He's trying to get it to turn to crush it. The thing does not have the greatest turn radius. This one might do it. Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
That's some nice revenge here. FN might just have to kind of take this fight and wait to try to go for a res for themselves. Zenith there trying to put some damage into Sparking, but not sure if Sparking grabbed the blue chip there momentarily.
I mean, if you're a BDRM, if you just pick it up, I mean, sure, it shows you on the map where it's at. Just kind of drive along with it. I was like, I dare you. How are you going to get me out of this thing? Get a little bit of vengeance, I guess, back. But, I mean, it did come at the cost of Alo, so mixed blessings.
It's not great for either team, to be honest. It isn't the fights you really want to be taking. I get why FN did it, though.
They're at 53. Bully Team Liquid, sure.
Oh, well, and you know who that is. You know when that player's coming in that parachute, you know 1,000,000% that's Purdy Curdy, who you killed earlier, and he's coming in with absolutely nothing, so you can punish that. I get that decision. It's just, Team Liquid was getting there really quick to help out.
Okay, so Gen G is doing a very far wrap down to the south. Rock looks like they're regrouping entirely, but they're going to be next to the Freaks yet again, who are going to be in the middle of a red zone. Pretty much center of this circle is going to be Petrichor Road, Twisted Minds, Change the Game, and Falcons. We still have Lippo that's going to be inside the circle itself. Shelter, Prison, all of that fun, as well as even having Mansion, Heaven, Sky Garden, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of interesting ways that this could go.
Yeah, this is a nice circle here for Twisted Minds, who had to change their drop spot on this map. This event, both them and Petrichor Road kind of had an agreement. We're not going to fight over School and Power Grid. On Miramar, we are going to split it half-half. So on this map, Lipovka is the new drop spot for Twisted Minds, their main drop spot. And they're going to have nice access to some of those hills. The Freaks able to get in to the southern end of the circle. Rock there just to their west. Don't see a res coming through. Not sure if they're able to pick up that chip. I think the Freaks were able to successfully defend that kill that they got in the Crossroads compound just to the west of Novo. And FN, there was a moment there where they might have bumped into Team Liquid again. I was watching the map. I was like, oh boy, this might be round 3. But instead, FN peels back and is going to, I think, go for the res is maybe my assumption.
Yeah, Luke's making a run to what looks to be a tower.
I think they're both going for reses.
Yeah, this is potentially odd. So, actually, no, Luke ends up pulling away from the tower. So,
but I don't know if FN got the chip. That's what I was thinking.
I don't think that they could have, because they all headed to the hills. This is just kind of this is an awkward duel between two teams that just keep kind of bumping into each other. And I mean, right now it's been Pochon. They've been the ones that have been the proactive part of this. They got the knock onto Kurt, they got the flush, and then they turned back to come after him yet again. So,
okay, so I don't think they have the chip. They're not going for the tower, at least not initially. Just stopping to heal here momentarily as we look to see where.
Pochon's way over to the west. You can barely see them.
Yeah, you can just see the edge of Star-Lord's name. Where is this circle going to go? Does it have to leave water just yet? Yeah, so it's going to keep some of that water in there. Keep all of Lipovka proper inside of the circle. A lot of the prison area, that's going to be where Salute and the Freaks are. BB team needs a big game. They are PGS 8 winners and need to get something going in this one. And they have, at least for now, a decent-looking opportunity. There's an emergency pickup that was popped by GK, but I don't think they're all going to take it.
They might want to wish that they had, as T5 is going to be cutting right in front of them. So we're pretty much Lippo down to Pride Rock near prison. Freaks are going to be trying to hold down that Pride Rock positioning, looking down where Rock's going to be moving from. TDT is going to be right on the edge of the zone just to the west of that. Then it's going to be all on to, this is the crew that's going to be trying to get into the circle. GK, they are inside for the time being. Sharper is rotating back behind them, and that could be an issue. Twisted's going to be just on the other side of GK. But we also have AGAL that needs to go in the circle. Gen G, who's been on a tear. Team Liquid. Pochon, this is absolutely nuts. But GK, you got to be careful, man. Quizzy is coming down on a parachute, but it's going to be Sharper right up on top of you.
I'm not sure if that's lucky or not that he was up in a parachute while Sharper was driving there. He's not going to be able to really help out the rest of his team. Sure, he can give them some early warning. Divic's just immediately going for the beach, saying it's vacation time. Try to hide from Sharper, but they know he's in a really bad spot. There are no easy ways up from there. And he takes just a smidge of damage.
Earth sends Dipex down into the ocean. So, up on top, we got the Thunder potentially rolling as really GK can't wrap back into this. Remember, there's a lot of people that have this hillside with vision. So Sharper doing the stop off here means that the other members for GK can't come back up into this elevated position because Twisted's got vision on it, and even T5 as well. You could potentially lose multiple members making this wrap around. Speaking of wraps, down in the red zone, we got ourselves Rock as well as Pochon continuing their rotate. Oh, and Team Liquid is going to be rotating right into Gen G and AGL. That is its own independent mess, man. Team Liquid cannot find a path anywhere in the circle.
No, it just there was so much chaos going on for them. It just took so long to get into this circle. They're going to have a really tough time with it. There is a grenade from Luke 12. He's found 2 over there.
Hey, maybe some kills could be big. That's points. Team Liquid, they do manage to hold it for now. Nade goes good, lands on top of Purdy. Sparking's going to come rolling in after it. Team Liquid trying to get proactive in and of themselves, just rolls right up next to him. It's like, no, you're trapped in here with me now. Sparking's just locked him out, not letting him get anything out of it. Rolls back out, Sparking, can you run him over? It's going to be pretty hard.
He didn't have enough speed.
Didn't have enough speed, now it's going to let him go. Sparking. Is he getting the most driving kills in one game? I don't know.
He's trying. He's definitely trying. That was hilarious.
Flame's like, what do I...
Yeah.
Oh, Luke, there you go. All right, starting to get some points. Again, this isn't the way Team Liquid wants it, but they're finding points.
Yeah, man, that's good. I'm still curious about this fight with Sharper and Geeky now, as Sharper kept Exquisite back to watch Quizzy to make sure that he wasn't going to be able to get to the rest of his team easily. I really like that play from Sharper, but now they got to make a dive, and they're losing players quick. That's 2 down. Fast and furious. Thunder's Exquisite gone from this one. Jedi trying to see if he can get behind him. He does get the knock, but it's actually Batulins from Twisted Minds from range who's going to find that knock. Earth, the only one left here, trying to claim whatever he can.
Nobody's coming out of this one clean, except for Twisted, who's just enjoying. We're pretty much just farming ADR right now. Quizzy just going to bleed out here in just 1 second. Earth, I don't even know what you can do. I mean, Quizzy just want to make sure that he secures the kill for his squad, gets a bit more loot for it. He might be able to get the res, but I don't know what's even going to get out of that because you got PWD that's going to be down there as well as Twisted. So that's the northern part of the circle. Down in the south, we got AGAL as well as Petrichor Road roaming. TDT as well as the Freaks that are going to be right up on top of each other. Freaks going to be having the high ground on TDT, getting spotted, but Salute gets spotted in his rotate. DL, though, not going to go without a response of his own. DL have been tag team it together.
That was some nifty shooting there.
Oh, in Liquid, no.
Oh, boy.
Well, the ways to approach.
Oh, no. McEwen's so ready for it. He's got one down. Looking to do some more run over. Look at Sparky, he's got a little smile on his face. He's just for the Freaks. This is phase 4 blue. It's starting to chunk. Oh, Purdy, please, my friend. Hit that shot. Oh, just missed.
I mean, Liquid needs every point they can get. Purdy Curdy's going to go down. Team Liquid going to make him the villain, so Sparking's just going to embrace it. He's going to be bullying everybody around him that he can.
I know, it is.
It's a mess.
Oh, he found a friend!
AGAL!
They're twins!
By our powers combined, let's go run over everybody in the lobby. Why are we fighting each other? We could be friends instead.
Is this going to be like a Highlander situation? Oh, no! Oh, God!
So, AGAL, I mean, you gotta be vibing. Let's do a quick listen in with them to see how it's going.
Nó đi vòng lên em. Nó bò này. Thằng đó trên xe em, thằng đó trên xe em mà. Bò cho. Nó bò bên đây. Nó xưa em. Còn cuối đi luôn rồi. Cuối đi vòng còn hai hàng đó. Từ đi tao đạt. Lúc đây. Lúc đây. Ôi thằng lùn vòng phải cắt. Từ đi chưa? Lía. Mày ghép. Cố kìa. Đây bắn mình không? Bắn mình. Lên xe ngồi cái. Cho sửa. Từ. Đừng chết đó Hải. Bắn cố không biết chết.
Mortars raining down, but AGAL starting another tear of a game of their own. Whoa. Falcons trying to make something happen over here as it's just going to be Evan, the last one up for the Freaks. They go down. Falcons getting control over the mansion area for the time being. They still have Sharper that's just going to be up to the north of them. AGAL, new circle pops. It leans into twisted direction, so that means AGAL, Petrichor Road, Pochon all have to make moves. Falcons just going to be the north of this. Do they want to get involved? Shrimsy and Kickstart look like they want to make some points of their own.
This is going to be really interesting. The Falcons actually looking to maybe get behind AGL. Do they have a Panzer ready for this BDRM? We did have one available earlier that took down poor Sparking there. And it was a Highlander situation. There can only be one, and it's AGAL's who's going to be the sole surviving BDRM right now. They're trying to drive ahead, but oh man, Petrichor Road. That's some disgusting spray from range there from Wenbo. That is pretty far.
AGAL just kind of looks over at people getting shot out of their cars. peasants. We continue to drive.
Sucks to be you, nerds.
We'll just stop off here, I think. Oh, look, there's people we can shoot. BDRMs and AGAL. I'm scared.
That is a scary combo. It's just like I'm just waiting for a random Panzer to just blow them all up. But Himas, gets taken out by Ming there. Not quite ready for Petrichor Road to be coming up over that hill on foot. Tycon able to respond, so Aches left alive, but very, very weak. Ming is going to get run over by Tycon. As Himas, they definitely want to get him rezzed back up and running because they have more fights brewing.
There's a ton of teams coming over here. We've got BB that's approaching on a similar vector. BP is caught up with T5 on the other side of the hill. Falcons up into the north. Looks like they were trying to assault the position just to the north of Twisted, but remember that we still have DK over there. Sharper spotted that out. Looks like they're wrapping in back behind it. So Falcons do lose one, but DK loses multiple. PWD is still back behind him, so that's its own problem that could pop off any moment. Good nade coming up from Perfectix. Drops it on two, and now it is just on to Tickleton. PWD pops off. Falcons are eliminated.
Oh, that was a tough one for the Falcons. They almost hit a good grenade onto the roof that Perfectix was on, but it missed. It went just a bit too far, and he was able to punish the heck out of them. Grenades now making their way in towards AGL. It's BB team's turn up to bat. Bill First trying to get some shots down. Can't really connect too much damage. Meanwhile, back into the safety of that BDRM for some of these AGL players. Himas trying to use the smoke to stay obscured, to stay alive. CTG not too far from this fight, too.
Oh, and VP instantly eliminates T5 just to the east of this position. BB, got to be careful as now VP, his eyes, they hear this firefight. Looks like Lucarux might be eyeing it, change the game. Also might be changing an angle, seeing if maybe they can get in onto AGAL, who's just been kind of bullying everything around them. They are just climbing 10 kills for AGAL. This is how we expected this team to play.
Yes, this is much more AGAL. This is much more Vietnam. They are just running and gunning and making it work. Obviously, the BDRM very helpful in this situation, but we haven't seen it be like that impactful of a vehicle really until this game, where teams have been able to find moments where they don't just get panzered out of it and get some success. VP looking for a third party, looking to see if any fights are going to kick off on that edge, but right now, BB team is just tucked in together, huddled together, waiting for CTG to try to make a move. AGL is also in a similar boat.
This is going to be a really fat twist of minds. There's like 3 teams that are right over there that they're getting loot off of. Change the game, uphill battle that they could have to be facing versus BV over here. So a couple of peaks between them. Nox could be big. AGL already in the gatekeep position in the new circle. VP is just going to be to the east of them, so change the game. Not a lot of options. If they go to the north, they have to deal with an entrenched Twisted Minds who's just gotten fully refilled on ammo, meds, everything else along those lines, and having a compound. So change the game instead. Really wants to push along this hillside. BB, though, starting to realize that they don't want to get caught in this fight. They know that AGL is already up in the north. They're going to move into the east, but that puts them into VP's line.
This should be Twisted Minds' game to win, you would think, just because of everybody else is just fighting on the south, and it's pretty unlikely that one team is going to come out with 4 up to take a fair fight against them. Iduzi, just looking around the corner, gets lit up. Tycon there, laying down some earth, but Corexi actually finds Destroy, and it's Phil first.
This is really interesting. Is AGAL constantly moving their BRD just to kind of get in the right spot to block off shots from teams? So it's like a roaming piece of cover. Like, look, it just does not sit still. They do lose Tycon off it, but it was just constantly shifting from point to point to point. That was really cool. All right, so we have got Change the Game coming back behind him. BB now in trouble. They just had Senate, no options to go. BB gets eliminated, but they run right in the middle of VP. AJL now also doing the exact same thing, roaming right into it. Change the Game now has way more space to work with than they did just 1 moment ago. So AJL now kind of dealing with this rock in front of him, but VP's not going to fight. They were waiting for him to jump out. Coming alive, 12 kills out of their own. VP wants it. They want more kills, and they want to climb this leaderboard. Sitting at 52 points right now.
Himas wants to claim this kill, but he can't get the angle. So now Nixie just going to lay into this vehicle, hoping the BDRM is weak. Can see the feed. Yeah, nothing Himas can do there. That is just a tough spot to be in. Just a bit off a little bit more than they could chew there for AGAL. But this is a massive game for Virtus Pro, up into that top 16. Currently sitting in 13th place. Now CTG's turn up the bat, but they're getting backstabbed by Twisted Minds as they try to push up towards Virtus Pro.
Twisted realizes all the fighting's happening down in the south. they're in a good position, pretty much already qualified, but they want to secure this. They want to continue the roam in. There's a lot of points that could be had. Change the game now in a pinched position, right on the edge of the zone. And Winbo right on the back. He gets spotted. Luka Rux instantly shuts that one down. As now it's going to be VP joining in all the fun and games of a big giant truck.
They played Grand Theft Auto, and they're trying to put this to good use.
Oh no,
Tiantian, no, not like this, not like this. Oh well, something's going to kill him one way or another. Hang Tuai going to go down as well. Beamy just looking for an opportunity to do some damage himself. Dixie's driving around, hoping he can find him. Oh, so close.
Those smokes, I mean, bullets on one side, BDRM on the other side. What do you even do? Just having to juke through it all. He's still alive. And honestly, the longer he holds this up means that Twisted can get into a better spot. Beanie's already kind of held over into the east. So finally, Tian goes down, but he takes himself out. No, you cannot kill me by rotation.
Smart. I'm totally fine with that. But this is interesting. Now VP, for now, has a 4v4. It's not as good. You know, the high ground's going to be under Twisted Mind's control. You suspect they have a lot more util to work with based on the fact that, like you were talking about earlier, they had a bunch of bodies they could scoop up stuff off of. They have the high ground. They have the compound. They've been chilling there. They haven't had to throw out too much. So Batulin's even has level 3 gear. It's scary.
Yeah, but I mean, they're now having to walk into the circle. Chasing down those kills, trying to go after, change the game, kind of put them behind the pacing on this. And VP, Beamy very far into the east, got that vision. Nixie looks like he's going to shift over as well, get some mobile cover that he can work with. He's going to go all the way up to the north, set up a crossfire line right along the center point. Remember, we're only in phase number 7 because we don't go to circle 8 or circle 9 sometimes anymore because we just got kills to be had.
That's right. Well, this is a circle that doesn't lend itself to longer fights because of the openness of it. And Beamy there taking some damage. Perfectix just tracking this BDRM. I'm super curious if there's a Panzer available here for Twisted Minds, and if that's why they're bringing those cars up. I mean, obviously you want those cars for the cover and other stuff, the rotation ability into this late game circle. But if you had packed one into the back of one of those cars, you have a real chance to just wipe Nixie out here, clear out an extra flank that VP isn't going to be able to hold, and make this a little bit easier for yourselves.
While kills are definitely in the favor of VP, you can see Perfectix has just been farming damage. Number 1 in the lobby right now, I think it was at like 650 somewhere around the line. Example's going to be right back behind him in 5th place. This is just, they've had a lot of control over here. Now with this split position, you can see 2 members of VP are very far down to the south. Twisted feels like they read that. They're leaning more north. They've got this dip that they can play for the time being. It's going to give them some comfort. That also means the fact that they're assaulting the weaker positioning that VP is playing from. So VP, if they spot this out, Nixie feeds the information over, VP might know that they get some more terrain that they can play with over here, but the circle yet again goes centered up, and it's going to be on to Twisted to move.
Yeah, so Twisted just set up shop right in this dip that they found. They've got a bunch of extra stuff like folding shields. I even saw a gas can in there for them to kind of use and try to situate themselves however they want to try to attack this last circle. Nixie just has to be very, very careful. It even takes a moment to breathe here, this BDRM. Look, he takes his hands off the mouse and keyboard once he gets in. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. They can't do anything about this right now, and if they have a Panzer, I'm dead anyway.
Well, the problem with it is Beamy actually does need to get into the circle, and Twisted knows exactly where he is. It feels like they're trying to punish over the smokes and go after Beamy, and yeah, you can see he knows he's kind of trapped over here. Unless something happens. I mean, Nixie has the perfect distraction, depending on how he wants to use it. The other 2 members for VP are still playing down to the south. I think that they've got a bit of the ridgeline that they can play, so a couple of seconds before the circle starts closing in, and all pressure is going to be onto Beamy, so Nixie getting a bit of pressure now of his own as finally the vehicle explodes. That thing's been taking a lot of bullets.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it's about time that thing's going to blow up because it's been taking a lot of damage. There was a Panzer, but Tulin's held onto it, got the knock as well. Now they're going to use some smokes to try to scale forward into this next circle. Perfectic's going to be on Beamy duty. He's got level 3 gear. He's got a P90 in the back pocket, but Tulin's does get knocked here. So now it is a lot more difficult for Twisted Minds.
They still all up together. VP is still leaning into the south. They don't want to commit yet. They do have a sight line along this road, and they're hoping that they can get the shots on the Twisted as that's going to open up. With the smoke wall down, that makes it a lot more complicated. Beamy going down makes this a lot easier. They run forward. They should be able to get the res. Perfectix taking some damage, so it's just going to be onto Luka Rux and Corexi way down into the south, while it's all onto Twisted Minds. Get their res back up, get their meds. Yes, there is some cover over here for VP, but remember, economy is so strong for Twisted.
Exactly. I mean, you're looking at a bunch of level 3 gear, level 3 guns, smokes, frags, a lot available still for Twisted Minds. So it is going to be very difficult. VP's just going to have to hit nasty shots as Beamy finally going to be cleaned up. 2v3 now, or 2v4, excuse me. We got the res onto Batulins, and Lukaruk's just looking for an opportunity. No more smoke grenades left in your smoke grenade launcher. Oh, Corexy got a knock, but Lou, quick to answer.
Okay, it's getting a bit crazy over here. Lukarux has to run into the open, right onto the road. He wanted to see if he can get some vision onto Example. He knows he is outnumbered. He can't let these fights go on for too long or it's going to be a problem. Example also in the road, so just out in the cover. Nothing to be had between them. Lukarux manages to get the knock, but there is going to be now Lou and Batulins both running down. Lukarux knows he doesn't have much time, does get his meds back up, but this is going to be a downhill battle. Corexy trying to crawl forward, seeing if he can feed some information over. He instantly gets knocked out. Batulins knows where it's at, throwing up the nades. Lukarux just trying to step forward. Nades rain down, and that is going to be all on Twisted Mind.
Oh boy, that was not easy at the end. A little bit of a wry smile from the IGL of Twisted Minds. Batulins able to win the 1v1, but man, Lukarux gave that a hell of a try. He was so close to winning that battle, but Twisted Minds able to hang on. But you got to feel good about that as VP. That is a phenomenal game.
That was big for them. Second place, I don't even remember where they ended kills, 15, something along those lines. That puts them in so much better of a position. AGAL on a tear of their own. That was just an absolutely nuts Erangel, and I didn't read any part of that coming out. I mean, we had the Team Liquid and Pochon fights at the start of this one. We've had blue chips coming in, reses back and forth, BDRMs all over the place. Okay. If this is how Erangel's going to play,
yeah,
I'm down for it.
It's a great game. Yeah, a lot of fun and a lot of interesting sort of butterfly effect situations. You know, like you were talking about with Team Liquid, with AGAL getting a BDRM. All these things kind of cascaded into the late game with VP having a BDRM, so they could take a much more fair fight against Twisted Minds with that 4v4. Twisted with that extra level of level 3 gear, and
scary.
Yeah, that is when he's smiling, it's over. You're just cooked. You're done. Forget it. But yeah, that was a good one. I'll take more of that, please.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be the end of Erangel for the group stages. We are going to have 4 more maps, and it's starting to see like a lot of feast or